Hey guys. Okay, so for those of you that saw last week's video, you would know that it was kind of like a part 1 to a potential 3-part video series. And I encouraged you guys to give me a thumbs up if you wanted me to roll out part number 2 and then part number 3 in the weeks to come. Well, guess what? Surprise, surprise, you guys gave me the thumbs up. So I'm here today to do part number 2. Before we launch into that though, I want to take a moment just to quickly recap on part 1. I want to make sure that people that may have missed that first video are on the same page before we start talking about that second point. So, to recap, what I was saying was that I was once told only 1 in 3 approvals ever sees the light of day. Dun dun dun, insert dramatic music. So basically by that I mean only 1 in 3 applications ever makes it from the DA stage right through to construction. Now, BDQ, Building Designs Queensland, had invited me to be part of a presentation, let's just say, to provide my insight as to why I think, or how I think, the town planning industry contributes to that problem. So what I think the town planning hurdles are that are causing people to fall and fumble before they make it to that construction goal. Now, point number 1, which is what we talked about in that first video, was quite simply the fact that people failed to appreciate or realize the fact that each and every single site across the city is entirely different. Entirely different in terms of the combination of zones, overlays, neighbourhood plans, etc., which apply. So basically, you can be standing in a street looking at 2 properties side by side. They can look exactly the same to the average person. Like they can look at a cute carrot, look like, if I get my words out, it's like 4:30 in the afternoon, I need coffee. What I'm trying to say is they can look like the exact same house to the average person. Like pre-1911 house, let's just say, 600 square metre block, character area, etc. But they can be totally different in terms of the uses that are allowed. So whether you're allowed to do units, dual occupancies, townhouses, all that sort of stuff. The lot sizes, I mean, can you do 450 square metres or 180 square metre lots? The demolition rules that apply. So can you demolish the whole house? Can you demolish half the house? Can you not demolish any of the house? So yeah, to the average person, they can be 2 exactly the same sites, but they can be totally different from a town planning perspective. And people fall into the trap of going, oh yeah, I worked on the site around the corner, it looked exactly the same, it'll be the same this time around. No. You have to ask questions up front. Please take that message on board. You need to ask questions before you put pen to paper, so to speak, about what rules and requirements apply to that property. Okay, so that's part number 1. Now let's get to part number 2. What's the second hurdle that I see people sort of fumble at? Quite simply, people fail to understand, appreciate, use whatever word you want, that the planning scheme is a dynamic document. The rules are constantly changing and evolving. I mean, heck, when City Plan 2014 was first released, Council made it very, very clear that they were going to discontinue their printing service. They wanted this document to be online. Why? Well, they wanted to constantly evolve with society. As society changed and improved and all of that sort of stuff, they wanted the planning scheme to keep pace with that. They didn't want this stagnant, static sort of document that just got pushed to the shelves because it was so outdated the minute it was published. So that process or that approach has meant that we've seen a lot of evolutions in the rules, the black and white rules within the document. I mean, I've just brought the planning scheme up here and I can see we've had a whopping 22 evolutions since City Plan 2014 was first introduced. I think it's something like 4 of those have been in the last year alone. So you can quite simply see that this rule book is constantly being changed and tweaked. And you can't assume that just because 6 months ago you knew what the dealio was, that dealio will be the same now. But to take that one step further, it's not just the black and white rules in the planning scheme that change. It's the interpretations of those rules, the grey areas within the planning scheme. Now, the example I will give you is the basement definition. Quite simply, in super simple terms, a basement is a level that sticks no more than 1 metre out of the ground. Now, originally, that metre measurement point was taken to the ceiling of the basement level. Then Council realised that everyone was just putting these false ceilings in to try and mess with the levels, so they adjusted their interpretation to measure it to the floor above. That led to a lot of backlash, a lot of flow-on issues, so what they've had to do recently is take it back to the ceiling below. I personally look at it and go, yeah, okay, you've solved one problem, but you've still got that false ceiling problem. I mean, every man and his dog out there is building false ceilings now. So I can see it's going to change again in the future. So these changes or evolutions in the interpretations are not documented within the planning scheme. Like I keep saying, they're kind of like grey areas, interpretational things. They're not actual written down rules. So the point I want to make in all of this, like with the first video, is you can't assume that just because you've done it that way before, I mean, if you've got this site, which is an exact match for a site you've done previously in terms of zoning, site area, age of house on top of it, overlays, all of that sort of stuff. If you've got that magic combination that matches a previous job you've done, you can't just assume that you even then know what rules and requirements apply, because things could have changed since you did that previous job. So I want to encourage people to ask questions up front to say, okay, what has changed in this space in the last 6 months, 12 months? What do I need to know since I last did this type of job? Not only that, but what changes or what murmurings of changes can you hear or can you see happening in the future? Because the reality is these jobs don't just magically appear overnight. They take time to come to fruition, from that initial concept stage through the design stage to get to the town planning point, etc., etc. So there can be a big shift in the town planning rules in that period of time. So you kind of want to ask, what do you see changing in the future, so that hopefully when you get to the town planner or the certified down the track, you've got a proposal that meets the rules and requirements in play at that point in time. Okay, I think that covers off everything I wanted to talk about today. As I said, the big message that I'm desperately trying to get across here today is ask questions up front, because the game is constantly changing. Okay, next week we'll do part number 3. We'll round out this beautiful little micro video series. As I always say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got 3. Number 1, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site specific. You would be a silly billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly billy. Number 2, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number 3, what was my number 3? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all. Bye.